Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and my guest today is Margaret Kenequanash, who's the chair of WatayPower. Welcome, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. So, Margaret, tell me a little bit about your background, where you grew up and some of your early days.
My home community is North Caribou First Nation, and I was raised there by obviously my parents, who are now gone into the spirit world. They've taught me to live on the land and live off the land majority of my life. And as I moved along, I went into school and moved away from the community. I've been doing a lot of work in various capacities, a lot of it support work, community work, and also in leadership in a number of areas. I was chief of my community in 1996 for about 3 years.
And this is North Caribou Lake?
Yes.
And where is that located?
It's about 188 miles north of Sulakaut is what I usually tell people. Whether that's accurate or not is another thing. So to drive from Sulakaut to North Caribou, it's about 8 hours. Yeah. So, but after I left my home community the second time around, I went back to school, went and took business to pursue further my education, and I went back to work into the workforce shortly after that. Then I've been given an opportunity and a privilege to work with Shibogma First Nations Council, which consists of 5 communities, and we work with them in various aspects such as health, education, technical services, and advisory services and support that they require in a lot of areas like the community development, community infrastructure, governance, and in all aspects that we can assist with the communities and whatever else they require us to work on.
So let me ask a little bit about that. In Thunder Bay, Anishinaabe Nation is kind of well known, but
Right.
the smaller, and I'm guessing it's smaller, I don't even know, the tribal councils aren't so well known. So the 5 communities, are they all geographically close by?
The way that
How does that work?
The way that I've learned from reading the material and the history, there's been some changes over time in terms of those where communities have grouped themselves together to work on specific initiatives, and there used to be like the Pitaban area, the Kayana area, all those things, and then eventually they kind of grouped themselves geographic, where a lot of perhaps like the economic initiatives, business initiatives that would work in their favor, and then their close proximity of each other. And so Shibogama is Wapaka First Nation, Wawagabiwin, Casablanca, Kingfisher Lake, and Wannaman Lake. So they're just right around the area that they're working together in a lot of areas.
So is your home community part of
Shibogama.
Shibogama?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, North Caribou is part of Wendigo First Nations Council, and Wendigo has quite a number of communities that they work with. I think they work with 7 First Nations, and so North Caribou has always been part of that.
So the tribal council provides kind of expertise or best practices, or do they provide direct services?
There's a number of areas that the tribal council provides services to the communities. Initially, from the mandate of the government, there's a tribal council policy where we provide support and advocacy in a number of areas, ranging from community development, community infrastructure, technical services, education, health, and governance is the areas that, and financial financial advisory. So a lot of those advisory services have recently been cut by the government. And as we move along, there's a number of areas that we need to focus on, and some of it is providing capacity initiatives to the community, and at the same time following up on some of those other areas like health, education, and technical services. Has been kind of streamlined a bit, even though we're still doing the same amount of work that we need to do for our communities. So one of the areas is infrastructure, bringing proper infrastructure into the community, and how are we going to maintain the community part of the community development. It includes housing, it includes business development within the communities, and infrastructure is so critical as we move those forward. And that's what we do. We provide advisory support. There's other tasks that are given to us under the line called extra duties as required.
So, isn't that on every job description?
Yes. And so this is where Wataynikaneyap falls under, as part of the work that has evolved over a number of years, and given that energy is a priority for our First Nations. That's one of the critical infrastructure needs in our communities in order to expand on the current services that are there, and even to expand on any kind of future development that may be required.
And so that really leads us into the project that we've talked about, the WatayPower, and it's got a larger name. Give that to me. In our language, we had asked, as we started with this project, we had asked a number of our elders to assist us in naming the project, and they called it Wataynikaneyap. And Wataynikaneyap in our language means a line that lights up. And so that's what we're talking about, is bringing the electrical lines, the infrastructure, those big towers that go across the country into the northern communities.
I think given the situation of our communities with their energy, currently our communities are powered by using diesel generators. We are coming to a crossroads where our communities are in dire straits to upkeep that energy that's provided to them by diesel generators. A lot of our diesel generators are now at capacity, and does not take into account for any future expansion of the community or development or anything else. So I can get into detail of that, specifically what I mean by that.
So we should hold it there because
yeah.
we need to take a little break.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
All right.